Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Fan Frenzy Podcast. I'm your host, Chris Borgia, alongside co-host Ben Lotman, Gabe Layden, Jake Holtzauer. Today's going to be a fun one. We're getting closer to seeing the end of both the NBA Finals and the NHL Finals. We'll touch in on some MLB, but going around news a little bit. As of recent stuff going on, there's still updates that Reddick is still not with Robert Saleh. He's not having it over there. He really must not like New York, specifically the Giants too. But moving on, there's other news that is going around, specifically with coaches amongst the NBA. There was recently that Darvin Ham, former Lakers coach, is now joining the Milwaukee Bucks coaching staff. Kind of funny, you know. I don't know. I thought that was really funny. And some other news too. Dan Hurley, for people who don't know who that is, UConn coach, got a request to be the Lakers' new head coach for $70 million, and he basically turned it down and said, "No, LeBron runs your team. I don't want to have to deal with the guy who's going to try and run the team when I'm supposed to be the guy running the team." Um,
He wanted to stay at UConn and try to win the third consecutive title too.
yeah, I know. That was pretty funny to me. Moving on
Wait,
though into
hold up, I got one more news story for you. It's not, I
what?
don't know if you guys heard. Sorry to cut you off. I don't know if you guys heard about this. It's not our traditional sports world, but the GOAT is now going to be banned from his competition.
Oh,
Oh
Joey
yeah.
Chestnut not able to compete at the hot dog eating contest.
I mean, I
How
don't
could they
know
do
why
that
they
to
would do.
him?
I mean, they did it. He
Oh
took a
yeah, he was promoting
sponsorship.
the.
Yeah, he was promoting like a vegan company that wasn't Nathan's hot
yeah.
dogs, and I don't know why they. I still don't understand why they would do that. He's literally bigger than the sport. Literally,
Yeah,
people only know
much
that.
bigger.
People only
Like,
watch it for him.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Like,
nobody's gonna watch it this year now.
I'm
yeah,
gonna throw one more thing out there, and then we're gonna start with some hockey. Um, I just want to grab everyone's opinion real quick on this since it's been going around for a little bit. What's everyone's like thoughts? Just say if you think it's bad and say if you think it's okay. And I think everybody here is gonna say it's bad, but on the Caitlin Clark incident, because I feel like everybody really started getting into the WNBA for Cameron Brink and Caitlin Clark and these newcomers, and now like everybody's really just trashing Caitlin Clark for being a good player.
yeah. I mean, I feel like it's similar to other sports and other athletes when these rookies come in and they have so much hype. Like the players that have been in the league and don't get as much attention get kind of pissed off, you know. So I feel like she's expected it. I feel like she's handled it pretty well, better than some of the other rookies have, in my opinion. I'm not going to name any names, but I think you all know who I'm talking about. Um, but yeah, I think she's done a good job. I was kind of surprised she didn't get put on Team USA, even if, you know, the players
Yeah,
that
that
got
was
put on there,
horrible. That
the
was
players that got
horrible.
put on there have proven it in the WNBA, but like for the sport in general, like adding her to the roster, you didn't even have to play her. Just add her to the roster, and more people are going to watch. Like they should realize that.
Yeah, I think they
Um,
missed a really big marketing opportunity with that too, because like
yeah,
she is probably already the most popular WNBA player, i- if not like I don't know who else would be up there with her already, but she brings in so much attention. And I know like I saw like a Twitter like a tweet from RG3 where it's like, oh, the national league team doesn't need her because they're already like the best in the world basically. But I think you could just bring more eyes to her and to the team and to the sport in general. But also like she's averaging like 16 points a game right now, and I mean, I saw a clip where three people just like completely for like left their assignment to go cover her off of a screen, leaving somebody wide open in the corner. So I think she's not doing what she was expected to do, but also it's hard for her when she's getting triple teamed pretty much every
yeah.
single game she plays.
Well, that team has had two back-to-back number one overall picks, so they're not very good. Like if you look into it, they're one of the worst rosters in the league. The fact that they have, you know, Caitlin Clark doesn't really help them because you need a second player because like you
Hmm.
said, they just triple team her. She can't do that much. Um, but she is averaging some of the best rookie numbers in
Yeah,
WNBA history, so it's
Yeah,
yeah.
pretty
I
impressive.
also it's just like there's a whole lot of pettiness in that league, I feel like.
That's what I
And
mean. It's a lot of
Mhm.
jealousy, a lot of
it's
that
like
stuff.
I understand that it's tough when there's a rookie with this much hype, regardless of how she's performing in the league. It's like, that's going to happen. And whether you like it or not, it's for your benefit as well. It's now the reason she's the reason, like it or not, that you're on a chartered flight. She's the reason that there's more eyes on the sport and that they're selling out games in Indiana, of all places, right? I mean, I guess there's not a whole lot else to do in Indiana, but I also, part of me thinks that this is all a media stunt, though, with Team USA. Because if she was selected to the team, this would not be a segment right now. Okay, so big deal. Like one of the best players in the world is selected to Team USA, but she wasn't, and now everybody is talking about it. Right? That
Yeah,
this would not be talked about if she was on Team USA.
that's true.
And I also saw another tweet. I forget who it was from, but I don't know. It seemed like they knew what they were talking about. That said that one of the players potentially might be injured and might have to leave the roster
Yeah,
or the
that's what
training
I was
camp,
thinking.
and that she might be called up. I mean, I think it's public knowledge. I feel like that I saw somewhere that she's number one on the call up list. So, I mean, if all of this happens just for her to make the team anyway, I feel like it's clear as day that this is media, this is a publicity stunt. I don't know. That's how I see it, though.
Yeah. So as a consensus, though, we all think this is a very uncalled for situation.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah.
Fair, fair. Moving into our main show, though, we're gonna talk some hockey. So Ben was really hyped. He was really excited that Edmonton was in the finals, and look where that's going. You could
Hey,
have the
a
first best
serious.
player in the league. You could have the second best player in the league, but they have Matthew Kachuk, and they got more momentum than any other team in the league, man. They
I
want
mean,
it more than anyone.
I mean, I look. I really thought they were gonna win game two after that first period. They looked. The thing is, I feel like for I'd say 4 or 5 of the periods in this series, they've looked like the better team in my eyes. So I'm not. I don't think the series is over yet. I think Edmonton is definitely winning on Thursday night. I won't. I would if I was a betting man, I would put money on it, but I'm not a betting
And if
man.
they
So
lose,
I'd be incredibly surprised. I just think.
do you call a series at that point if they lose?
I mean, it's hockey, so no, but at the same time, they'd have to win 2 games on the road, which I don't know, but I don't know. I'm just gonna base it off the games that have happened so far. The first game they definitely should have won. The second game after they just got cooked. So I think what they got to do is figure out that power play magic that they've had because their power play throughout the 2 games hasn't been there at all. So I think they got to get that power play going and try and get Leon Draisaitl going too because he hasn't been doing that much. Connor McDavid, Evan Bouchard have been okay, but you need
What do
that third
you
guy.
what do you think they really need to do? Like say they lose, right? They lose the finals, right? This is the best team we've seen around McDavid and Drysdale. Like what else more could you ask for out of a team at
Yeah,
that
I mean,
point?
look, this is the year. This is the year, and I've been saying it. I said it going into this postseason. That's why I predicted them to win the cup because this is their year. I mean, realistically, what more? They have great defensemen. They have a solid goaltender. I think maybe they could use another forward, but I mean, I don't think financially they can really afford that. So I think this just has to be the year for them. They have
Can
to
I
make a comeback.
can I highlight someone that has been having a great series so far?
Hmm.
Uh, Evan Rodriguez with the Panthers, 3
Oh, he's
goals
been
in 2 games.
phenomenal.
Yeah, he's been amazing, and he hasn't done anything. Like this was a surprise too, because he really didn't do anything in the last couple rounds for Florida, but he is going off for the first 2 games, and like this is a free agent that they brought in this year for the first time, and he wasn't really showing anything that much throughout the season, but now he's
Yup.
really stepped up, and I think he's become like a fan favorite with Florida right
Yeah.
now.
And Sergei Bobrovsky, like, I mean,
Course.
he's just been insane. So,
Let me
you
ask
know,
you this, Ben. Obviously, everybody watching the podcast knows which hockey team you and me root for. Be honest, you would be happy to see Bob get a cup.
yeah, I would be happy, but I'd
It's a
rather
former
see,
Flyer, man.
yeah, I'd rather see the Oilers, make that nice little comeback.
Only thing I wish is that Radko Gudas was on the Florida roster.
Yeah.
Man, that
I love
stings.
I love me some Radko.
Yeah. What do you think on the series, Gabe?
Looking pretty good for us right now, Chris. That's what I think.
I know. I know.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's hockey. Like Ben said, anything could happen. It's not, we're not looking at the NBA Finals right now, where it's
I
like it seems to be
agree,
leaning one
but
way.
if Florida wins on Thursday, it's a
Oh,
series.
I mean,
Oh yeah.
when you're
I
up
mean, it's
3-0 in
done.
any 7-game series, almost regardless of the sport, or basically regardless of the sport, I think it's nearly impossible to come back. 2-0 though, we've seen it before. So I mean, I wouldn't count Edmonton out, but
No,
it's looking
not
like
at
it's
this
Florida's
very
series so far.
moment. It'll all come down to Thursday,
Yeah.
honestly.
Do we have an update on Barkov at the end of the game too? Because I know in the third period, like Draisaitl, like he hit him pretty hard, and he I think he was out for the rest of the game.
I think he's good. I
Yeah.
haven't seen anything
He-
around stating that he was hurt or anything, so we'll just list him as healthy.
Yeah. All I've seen is that Leon Draisaitl isn't getting suspended, which I think is the correct decision.
No, that's fair. And even if you do give out a suspension, you give it out next season. You don't do it during the playoffs.
Not in the finals.
Yeah.
None. Unless if it's something like I could see if it's something really dirty, like I'm gonna throw the name out there just because everyone knows that no one really likes this guy, but like say it was like Marchand and he did something really dirty, I'd be totally fine with it. Like yeah, kick him
Yeah.
out the playoffs. Like yeah. Even though they won't because they rather, the
Yeah.
playoffs like be at its full intense, its full moments, but whatever. I mean, so far the series has been at least happy in my favor. Everyone knows that I'm not really like destroying either team because I like both teams. I just rather see the US team win than the Canadians. But
Yeah.
that aside, I mean, like everybody's just been good for Florida, man. I mean, Ekblad's been real good. They just got momentum, man. They had this momentum last year too.
Yeah,
They
no.
kind of like momentum wise, they kind of remind me of the Phillies in the playoffs. Like they just go nuts in the playoffs. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean they're built for the playoffs. They're a very physical team throughout
Dude,
their entire
they're
depth.
back behind it. A phenomenal coach. Phenomenal coach, man. Like this team all around. This is what Matthew Tkachuk does to a team. I remember when the actual trade happened. Jake and Gabe, I know you two like have just gotten more into hockey recently, but to put it to you this way, like what was it, Ben? It was two or three firsts, something crazy like that, plus Jonathan Huberdeau and Mackenzie Weegar.
Yeah, and everybody thought that Florida lost the trade by a lot. Everybody's like,
I
"What is
thought the
this?"
same thing
Yeah, I
because
did too.
Jonathan Huberdeau when he was in Florida was getting like
He's
30 goals, 30 assists. On top of that, Mackenzie Weegar was a top defenseman. He's been phenomenal for Calgary too.
yeah.
He's
love
actually been great.
Mackenzie Weegar is actually our favorite player. Yeah, shout out to Mackenzie Weegar.
Yeah,
That's me and
like
Gabe's
Love
favorite player.
Mackenzie Weegar.
Yeah,
it's actually been an insane package that they gave up for Matthew Tkachuk, and it's actually really paid out for them. Really has paid out for them well, which I'm really shocked about. You went from being a team that had Drew literally like what 2-3 years ago. They had Owen Tippett, then they traded him to the Flyers. Like they got some good players on that team, man. And then
Yeah,
they kind of just move some pieces around and look at that. They're a finals team minus like 3 or 4 good players that they had on the team. I forgot to bring up one more piece of hockey news too. Did anyone see the Elias Lindholm news or no?
which you have to remind me.
Okay,
I
so
probably did.
Elias Lindholm recently was offered a new contract from Vancouver, and I think it was a 7x4. I want to say 7 million for 4 years AAV, and he turned it down, and that he's seeking for more. The guy's a great player. Don't get me wrong, but I think 7's a fair price. Some people, other teams probably too. I think Vancouver just wanted to keep him around in that core because like they could pay him now because most of that core is young and stuff. But I feel like most other teams aren't gonna really drop that much money on him.
The issue is he had 10 points in 13 playoff games this year and was a +4. and he was basically their best player in the playoffs.
That's why he's seeking more.
Yeah, so he's gonna get more money. I mean, yeah, that was a really good trade for Vancouver because, I mean, as long as they don't lose him for nothing.
I've
But
always liked him, especially in Calgary. He was always good in Calgary alongside.
I don't know Calgary.
um,
Can I just say Calgary? I don't know what happens there. They always have good players, and they're like never good.
never works. Yeah, like him.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, at one point, Ben, it was a line of him, Johnny Gaudreau, and Matthew Tkachuk. And look at that now. All three are gone.
Yeah, Johnny Gaudreau. What happened to him? Jeez, he should
That's
have
what
come to
happened.
Philly.
Listen,
He should have come to
listen.
Philly. He should have come to Philly.
I hate to move off of or bring another sport into this, but it's like that effect when you go somewhere and you kind of just like, you're like, damn, this team stinks, and you're like, you don't feel good about it.
You
And
had to bring it up.
that's how he feels, the same way Malik Neighbors feels in New York. He's been putting on that. Ben
He's a
knew
little
exactly
questionable
what
about
I
the
was
QB
talking
situation,
about.
but I think he likes the franchise. I
Ben
hope.
He's
knew
having fun.
exactly what I was talking about. Malik Neighbors. If you look at all the photos, bro, he is not smiling. He doesn't
Bro,
even know his
yeah, but
quarterback's name.
look at
Daniel
Jaden Daniels
Dones?
though. Jaden Daniels did the exact same thing when he went to
Bro,
Washington.
he called his own quarterback Daniel Dones.
And
Like,
listen, Daniel Jones is gonna dot you guys up this season. That's
yeah,
all.
all right. Going back though, are we all besides Ben here? I don't know if
Yeah,
Jake
he's
switched up.
Edmonton.
Let's go
I
Oilers.
don't know if Jake switched up. Are you still sticking with Edmonton, Jake?
I don't like switching up, so I'm gonna stick with Edmonton. Yeah.
Yeah, let's
You
go.
didn't like switching up on your own Knicks either, and look what happened. You decided not to switch. Maybe if you would have switched, you would have reversed the psychology a little.
I wish.
I don't know what to tell you there, buddy. Well, it looks like Edmonton's losing. Me and Gabe are still gonna ride with Florida though.
Of course.
It's fine. Me and Gabe are winners, bro.
You think Edmonton's winning Game 3? That's my question.
There's a shot. There's a shot. In all honesty, I think the difference here is gonna be Bouchard.
I think they kind of have to. I think Edmonton has to win game.
You know, though, one of my issues though is Darnell Nurse has been awful.
Oh, he's been awful.
He's been
I don't even know.
horrible, man. I don't know what happened to him.
They must not have a reserve defenseman because I'm surprised he hasn't been scratched. Like he's
Dude,
he in and of himself has lost 2 playoff games this
we're
year.
talking
this
about
season.
a guy who's a top tier defenseman, and he's been awful.
Yeah, I
like-
don't think he's going to be on the team next year. He is.
I haven't seen a collapse like that in quite some time. They're
Yeah.
lucky that they have Bouchard and Ekholm to carry a lot of the weight.
Yeah.
Because both of them have been really, really good. I'm shocked that, by the way, they scratched CC. He hasn't been horrible.
He's been.
Bro, Cody Cece's my guy, bro. He hasn't been horrible. He's been okay.
That's
He's been
crazy
okay.
that you called Cody CC your guy.
It's funny, bro, because I've just been talking about Cody Cece for like a week or two now, and then he had a point, and I
Maple
went
Leafs
nuts.
legend.
I went
Maple Leafs
wild when he
legend.
got that point. No, the actual Maple Leafs legend is Ilya Mikheyev. But moving forward, we're going to the other finals currently happening. The NBA Finals, the one
Wow,
that
surprise.
me
The
and
one-
Ben don't want to watch. Currently
Not a lot of people want to
Boston-
watch either because game one had like a
Yeah.
record low viewers of
Yeah.
that game.
Well, currently the Celtics are up 2-0. Wow, shocker! You built a super team. Damn it, Drew Holiday. How many time All-Star? What,
See,
3, 4?
what I
Derek
wanna
White's practically an All-Star. Jaylen Brown's like a 3 or 4 time All-Star. Jason Tatum's like a 3 or 4 time All-Star. Porzingis is
Horford has
like
a
a
couple,
3 time
I think, right?
All-Star. Oh, Al Horford has like 2 All-Stars. Like, what?
Yeah, I will say I the only thing I want to talk about is I feel like we all think Boston's gonna win. Is Joe Mazzulla the worst head coach to ever win a championship if he wins? In my opinion, for coaches that I know, I feel like he would be.
He's definitely the
Because-
weirdest one.
I don't think he's a good coach.
Would
And
you
I don't think he's
would
a
you
good
consider
coach either.
Doc Rivers with how he's currently coaching, or no?
I mean, well, because prime Doc Rivers was
elite?
he was solid, yeah. I mean, to be fair, a lot of coaches could have won with that Boston team, but
Who won
You
in
know.
Who won in 2020? Was that Frank Vogel with the Lakers, or was that?
Yeah,
it
Frank
was.
Vogel.
Yeah. I don't know,
A lot
man,
of
about the
interesting
whole
coaches
Joe
when he
Mazzulla
fought.
thing.
Yeah.
I would say Missoula's probably the worst. Yeah,
You know what
I
I'll
thought that
say
too.
though? Once again, Jason Tatum getting carried to a ring. Jason
Yeah.
Tatum's not a good player. I don't know what to
Yeah.
say. Like
The Bucks gave the Celtics a ring. I feel like the Bucks franchise should get like rings too. The Celtics should send them some rings because they made one of the worst trades I've ever seen. They're like, "Oh, we're gonna trade Drew Holiday to a team that doesn't need guards. I wonder what they're gonna do with Drew Holiday. Oh, trades him to the biggest rival. Yeah, because
Well,
the
they're so
Celtics.
hyper fixated on Dame that they just
Yeah.
they
Because the
didn't see
Celtics were
the long-term
trying.
vision.
What happened was the Celtics were talking to them about doing a 3-team trade, and the Bucks were like, "No way, we're giving you guys Drew Holiday." This is what happened according to reports. They're like, "No way, we're going to give him to Portland." Portland didn't need a guard, let alone what? How old is he? 32, 33-year-old player when they're
why
trying to.
couldn't Portland just trade him to like I don't know somewhere else?
Boston gave him a good deal, and honestly,
Who else
Drew
was
Holiday.
in that? It was Robert Williams and who else? I'm forgetting.
Drew
Brogdon.
Holiday's. Yeah,
Brogdon.
yeah.
Oh yeah, I
Brog-
forgot they had
Brogdon
Brogdon.
Brogdon was really good last year, and Drew Holiday was like last season he wasn't that great. He had a lot of injuries, so his stock was low. Brogdon and Williams' stock was high, so it was just
You know, before Brogdon even left Indiana, that's why I wanted the Sixers to go after, but of course we can't go after,
Malcolm Brogdon might be one of the weirdest rookies of the year in a long time.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
He was like a second rounder, right?
Yeah, he was a second rounder.
Yeah, he was good on Milwaukee, man.
He was good his rookie season.
Was it
And-
Milwaukee or was
No,
it
he
like
was-
Indiana, right?
I thought it was
No.
Indiana.
No.
Oh no, it was Milwaukee.
It was
It was
Milwaukee.
Milwaukee.
Oh, and then
Yeah.
okay.
Milwaukee.
Then he went
Indiana.
to Indiana, and then
He's been good like everywhere he's
Yeah.
gone. I don't know how good he was in Portland because I feel like Portland is the least talked about team in the NBA right now.
Yeah.
Outside of
but they
Charlotte.
have
wonder
good
why.
prospects though. They have good young players.
No, Portland has a great roster. I'd love to be in Portland's situation. It's
Dude,
just
Shaden Sharp is nasty. That kid is nasty.
And they got Scoot Henderson last
I don't
year.
like the disrespect that people put on Shaden Sharp, like, in all honesty.
Scoot Henderson had a pretty solid rookie year.
He was okay.
I think he was very underrated. I was kind of surprised he didn't make an all-rookie
Do we
team.
think they moved Jeremy Grant?
This offseason? Probably. I feel like there would be a lot of
That would make
suitors.
sense.
Wait, do they still have Anthony Simons?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
nice. I honestly, I might
He's
like
one of
him
my
better than
favorites on
Scoot
them.
low-key, but
Moving back into the finals, though, since we got a little off track there.
Yeah.
Dude, I really thought this was going to be a nice series for Dallas and that, the young, underlooked guys would have really stepped it up and acted as if they wanted it more and beat the Celtics. It's like,
well, it's not over yet. I mean,
listen,
they're-
I'll put it to you this way. You ever watch Space Jam, when like all the Looney Tunes characters are up against those big dudes? That's like what I thought of immediately. Like Boston
Yeah, but who
being
won?
those guys and then the
though?
underdogs coming in and beating them down. But like, I'm sorry. I hate to be this guy, especially because I'm a fan of this player. I hope you're watching this right now, Kyrie. Get it together.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Get it together.
I'm
What
very
you
disappointed in
doing?
Kyrie right now.
Jaden Hardy outscored Kyrie Irving in game 1. Do you guys?
Can I-
Some
can
of you
I
guys
just
don't
give
even know who
myself-
Jaden Hardy is. So
Can I
I
just
know
give
who
myself a
Jaden
pat
Hardy
on the
is.
back real quick? Because if you look back at last episode, I said, hey, the key to the series for Boston might not be slowing down Luka because that's nearly impossible to do, but going after Kyrie. And I mean, they haven't really went after Kyrie, but he's been playing like
Kyrie is more
Terrible.
worried about the damn fans than the actual game. And this is why you don't win. You need LeBron or else you're not going to win.
Currently, PJ Washington's
on,
averaging
man.
more points than him, which is just unfortunate.
yeah,
I think he can pull it together though.
Look,
If anybody
I think
can, he can.
I definitely think Dallas is going to win the next game. They only lost by 7 and they shot 23% from 3. I mean, Boston only shot 25% that game, so I guess it's really going to come down to 3-point shooting the next game because I think both teams kind of figured some stuff out.
The Mavs can light it up too.
Listen,
Yeah, they can.
I'm going to throw
Luka's
something out
second
there.
half wasn't great.
One
So
thing that I truly, truly do not like is when you have a coach who's literally a Hall of Famer and you're basically like trashing your coach in a sense, if you get what I mean. Like you have such high expectations and you're known for at least getting 20 points. At least. Like Jason Kidd, if he was playing right now, he would be cooking. Like we all know this.
he'd be
And
drinking a
like
lot too.
well probably but he'd still be cooking, but like dude, step it up for your coach, man. This dude deserves to have a ring. Like,
I will say,
talk about
shout out
Hall of
to him
Fame right
because
here.
talk about a coaching turnaround in his career. Because
Yeah,
I mean,
really.
before he was the head coach here, when he got
Listen,
hired, people were like, "This is one of the worst head coaching hires I've ever seen." Because
everybody
he
says
was
that
awful.
nobody liked Steve
Mhm.
Nash when he was coaching Brooklyn, bro.
Well, he
Well,
also
no,
wasn't.
Steve Nash was horrible. That's a different
Steve
story.
Nash wasn't a
Steve
good
Nash was
coach.
horrible. Jason Kidd was in a bad situation, I think.
Who do you like more, Steve Nash or Jack Hugh Vaughn?
Jacques Vaughn is he's much more fun. I'll put it that way. Like if you watch his post-game press conference, he's like lively, even after they lost by 20, you know. Steve Nash
That's
had
funny.
all the pieces there for him, and he just couldn't do anything. I don't know if you guys won't remember this, but the second the second that Steve Nash got fired and Jacques Vaughn stepped up, I think they went on like a 17-1 game stretch. They won like
Yeah,
14
I
games straight.
remember.
I mean, it was with the big three, but like, or no, it was with KD and Kyrie. But like,
Yeah.
clearly the pieces were there. Steve Nash had no idea what he was doing at the helm. I think it would be a great assistant coach. Just throwing him out there in the head coaching position is just not the way you want to do it. And I think that might be the same thing with JJ Redick, not to get off track.
I don't know, man.
JJ Redick is going to be the Lakers head coach, though, probably.
No, he
gonna
won't.
have
No,
to
he
be now.
won't.
After Dan Hurley turned them down,
Bro,
he's
the
gonna
two
have
options
to.
they have are JJ Redick and James Borrego. James Borrego was horrible for Charlotte. So, you know, unless there's probably some mystery candidate that we don't know about.
I'm going to be shocked.
But if they hire one of those two guys, I'm going to be like, well, why did they fire
Darvin
yeah,
Ham.
why did they fire Darvin Ham? I just
I don't think
really
they should have fired Darvin Ham. Though.
I think
Like,
if they got
don't-
if they were going for Dan Hurley and they really thought they were going to get him, I think he would have been a better coach than Darvin Ham. I disagree with what some of the national media is saying. I mean, he's coached at the high school level, at an elite level, and the college level and elite level. I think you can, and you've seen it a lot with certain college coaches, especially in the more modern era, transitioning to the NBA. You look at a guy like Billy Donovan. He's been a successful coach in college and the NBA. So I people
Mhm.
saying he was going to be a bad coach, I disagree with that. But you know,
Yeah, I
I,
will say though with Dan Hurley is that he's in a situation right now that like $70 million is real nice, but he's in a situation right now where he's loved by everybody on that campus, and they're not going anywhere, right? Like he has a great recruiting class. He has all the pieces
yeah,
that he
well,
needs to make another title run, and like they're not going to be bad anytime soon. The
yeah,
Lakers, you never know what you're going to get. Maybe they'll make the playoffs, maybe they won't. But he's on a place in UConn where they're always going to be a good team, no matter whether they take home the Natty or not. So
yeah,
I can't blame him.
and if he wins 3 championships in a row, he's going to be one of the top 3 legendary coaches already.
In this era, yes.
Yeah,
Mhm.
definitely in this era. I mean,
Well, I'm saying like if he's winning those
Yeah.
3 straight in this era, where it's like it's seemingly a new team every single year, except for Nova a couple of years back, where they won like
Yeah.
2 in 3 years or whatever. Yeah, definitely among the greatest.
yeah, for sure. I mean, Coach K never did. I don't even think Coach K won back to back. So
No,
I
I think
he
he did
did
in the
once.
early
He did
90s.
once. Yeah, he did
But
once.
that was in the
now that I
90s.
think
That's a
about it.
different time, I think.
Yeah, they had the same teams for 4 years.
It was a
Yeah.
different time. How we feeling on this series though, guys? Do we think Dallas has got the comeback here or
I think it's going to be a kind of gentleman's sweep. A real gentleman's sweep is you go up 3-0, then lose 1, then win the one. I think it's going to be a 5-game series, but I think Dallas is going to win the next game and then lose 2 in a row. So, yeah, sucks. But I did pick Boston, so but
What about you
I
two?
hate it. I hate it. I just
What
I don't
about
even
you
want to
two?
don't even want to picture it
I
happening.
think the Celtics are gonna continue. I don't think they're gonna sweep. I agree with Ben. I think the Mavs are gonna take one game, but it's just tough. And I mean, I think Porzingis, he got like he's playing still with his injury, and I think he re-injured his leg.
He's questionable.
Yeah, but he said that he wanted to continue playing. Of course,
They don't
he's in the
even need him
finals.
necessarily.
They don't even need him, but like he was just like pretty much like the cherry on top. Like he was already like in the paint blocking basically everything. So I don't think Dallas really has much of a chance.
Well, I wouldn't say those points won't come from somewhere else, but he put up 20 in that first game, and it was only a 18-point difference. I mean, that being said, I still think Boston would have won had they not started Porzingis, or had they not played him. But I think he's an integral part to that team. If he's missing a game or two of the series, I think this could really make it more interesting. And I also don't want to count Dallas out, regardless of what happens with Kristaps. I think that they're a good team. They made it to the finals for a reason. I still think Boston takes it in 5 or 6, but the Mavericks aren't done yet, especially if Kyrie is able to get his stuff together.
I'm hoping, I'm praying to God right now that Kyrie finds it and that they come back and win in 6. It's been on my mind all day. I've been thinking to God, I'm like, yo, please don't do this to me.
Who would have
Please.
thought? Who would have thought
I've
Chris
had
would be
enough.
praying for Kyrie to do good?
I've had enough of this city winning in any sport. These kids that are our age that live over there have seen like 8 championships, and I've seen literally 2 my entire life. Like, I hate Boston. I don't care if you're called the City of Champions. No one likes you, especially me. Especially me. I want to bring up a point, though. I know we all wanted another team in the finals that wasn't Dallas, specifically Minnesota. Do we think this would have been an actual full-on, like,
No.
real good series if Minnesota was in it?
No, I think Dallas beat them fair and square pretty handily. And I just don't think Anthony Edwards. I think he got really good experience this year, but I don't think he's ready for that stage yet. I think maybe give it another season or two. The issue with being out west is that those OKC Thunder, man. Like, I don't know how you're gonna. That
They're going to
team,
be a dynasty, man.
yeah. If that team doesn't win 2 championships over the next decade, that's going to be a failure, in my opinion.
And
I
we've been
agree.
saying it since the beginning of the playoffs, basically. Like, no matter what, it's going to be any team on the West versus the Celtics. And I think no matter which team it would have been on the West, it's going to still be in the same situation where Boston was basically going to dominate
All
them.
4 of us came to a consensus, though, saying that even if the Thunder lost in the first round, it was going to be a great season for them.
Yeah, no,
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
not saying it
All
was
of
a
us
bad
came to a
season.
consensus.
Yeah,
Yeah.
OKC outperformed every expectation that
And
everyone
they
had.
got the playoff experience that a good amount of them needed. Chet needed it, Jalen Williams, SGA. Like that entire team needed that playoff experience. It just goes to show that literally one trade can change your entire team, bro. That's literally their team is made because of the Paul George trade.
And they still have a ton of draft picks in the future.
Yeah.
A ton.
Or in
Oh,
their
I
case,
know. It's
like
unbelievable.
like
And guess what? They're
multiple
gonna wind
trades.
up trading that for more superstars. You know what I mean? It's gonna happen. If anything, I will not be shocked if they go after a 6-man, like a really, really good 6-man.
Well, they
Like,
definitely need a backup big, and they need some more bench help. I
yeah,
think
and
yeah.
they might be the main people to go after Malik Monk.
I
It would
wouldn't
be a
mind that.
great signing. It would be a great signing.
Yeah.
I want him to
Well,
come to the Sixers,
yeah,
but
I do too. I think he would be a
The
perfect
thing with
fit on
them
the
too,
Sixers.
though, is that their bench, like I know it's not like amazing, but at the same time, like their bench is good. Like they can trade away some of their pieces on their bench to bring in better players too.
Yeah,
Like
they
they're
have.
just
I
set up
agree.
for success everywhere.
A rumor going around right now too is Brandon Ingram with them.
I honestly, and I'm a Duke fan saying this, I do not like Brandon Ingram as a player. I would not want him on my team at all. He's
He
not
just
a
doesn't
winner.
seem, yeah, he just doesn't
He's not
seem
a
like a
winner.
guy
He
that would
seems
win.
like he doesn't care. Him and Zion seem very similar. I mean, Zion's kind of turned it around in my opinion. You know, I feel like towards the end of this season, he showed that he actually cared. He got like injured, which I really wish he didn't get hurt. I wish he would have been healthy for that OKC series because I think that would have been an awesome series. But you know, Brandon Ingram, while he has spurts, I just feel like in the
He's
clutch,
inconsistent.
he's inconsistent, and in the clutch, he just isn't in. I mean, you saw in the playoffs, he was supposed to be that guy. Zion was hurt, and he did jack all. Like he
Nothing.
didn't do
And
anything.
I don't think Brandon Ingram would be a good fit with them really either, because he's so used to being with New Orleans for a while now, where he was the number one like guy basically. Because Zion, he was always out, so it was always Brandon Ingram next man up. He was always the number one scorer after Zion, but he was always hurt. And him moving into an offense where Shea is the number one scoring option, like he might not even be like a
He'd have to.
scoring option over Chet either. So he would have to like take a couple steps back, which I don't think he would be the type of guy to want that to happen.
Yeah, I absolutely think Brandon Ingram could be a great off-ball player. I just don't trust him to be able to make that transition. But he has the skill set to be an excellent off-ball player.
You
But
wouldn't
also,
want him on the Sixers as a third man?
not really, not with
I just don't
this
think he would
current
have the
playing
mindset.
style.
I don't think he would
Yeah.
have the mindset to become, like Ben was saying, that off-ball player.
I also think that's another guy that seems like he could be injury prone with how lanky he is. Like, I just the Sixers just need to get players that aren't injury
Fair.
prone. Like, I just need the Sixers to have a healthy team next year.
That's fair.
I'm losing faith that the Sixers can ever win a championship in the Embiid era. To be
Well,
honest with
I'm
you,
just gonna limit it down to 4 guys to what it seems like are most rumored, which is him, Brandon Ingram, Paul George, Jimmy Butler, and LeBron are the 4
honestly, I don't even
that are
want any.
rumored.
I don't want any of those guys except maybe LeBron, but LeBron's not coming
No,
here. So
I would take LeBron or Jimmy.
Jimmy is coming off a really,
Are you
mean,
paying him a max?
Hmm?
Are you paying Jimmy Butler a max if he signs?
2-year deal.
Oh, I don't mind that for you guys then. As
Is
long
he
as
a
you're not
free
giving him a
agent?
ridiculous amount of money.
I thought he was. Is he a free agent? I thought he was still contracted.
Oh, I'm not sure.
There's a
don't
post where
know.
he was with I think it was Cameron Brink, and he said that like purple and gold looks good on him because he was wearing her jersey
Oh
going
yeah.
to the game.
Yeah,
So
22. Yeah.
yeah, so he might
Listen, don't get
going to
any
LA.
ideas there. He was wearing it because she said that Jimmy Butler's her favorite player, and she showed up to the
And
Heat
also,
game
Jimmy
wearing
Butler is
his
like
jersey.
Jimmy Butler like screwing with people. Like he's a little
I agree with
prankster.
that. He's the Jock Peterson of the NBA.
So he's on.
Such a random player to compare him to.
Because Jock Peterson's a troll, bro.
He has.
This.
He has next year at 48 million, and then he's a player option, which he's probably going to take for 52 million. He's a player option for 52 million. I don't want that I don't want that contract. I'm sorry. I don't think he's worth that amount of money.
Jeez.
I think his athleticism is falling off. You saw it at the end of this season. Obviously, he got hurt, but even before that, he wasn't performing at the level,
That's fair.
And
That's fair.
especially you have Maxey on that big contract now.
That is a hefty contract.
Let me see if they have his contract, Maxey's contract loaded in here.
I think it's 50 for 4 years, right?
Yeah, I think it was 255. No,
No,
it was
it's
205.
205.
200 for 4, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is, I mean, it's worth it, I would say.
50's a lot of money, man.
It's a lot, but I mean, if Jimmy Butler's getting paid, I think.
I mean, at least you didn't have to give Tyrese Maxey super max.
Yeah, but you have to pay these other guys too. Like you gotta pay Kelly Oubre back. You gotta go after another target.
I don't think Kelly's gonna demand a ton of money.
He's gonna get at least 10.
I think maybe somewhere between 7 to 10 million for 3 years, which is like a mid-level exception.
I think D'Lo might be. I mean, if D'Lo's he's at 18 right now. I'm expecting him to probably sign with. I don't know.
D'Lo's gonna make more money than Kelly Oubre just because of his track record.
Yeah.
If Kelly Oubre
signs
back
under 10 mil though, I feel like it's probably.
If Oubre signs back, especially for 3 years, I'm getting an Oubre jersey, no hesitation.
I just don't see him not resign. I don't know why he would leave.
I don't see why either.
That's all there is to it. I mean, obviously he's not getting a max in Philly, so.
Moving on off of basketball now. We got our players of the week. I've been starting the past few weeks, man. Somebody else has got to start this time.
I'm gonna go. I like mine. I have decided to not go boring again this week and not pick a Philadelphia athlete. I wanted to talk about an event that I watched over the past week or so that I thought was really enjoyable and didn't get the amount of viewership I thought it should have. It's called TST, the soccer tournament. It's ran by the guys that made the basketball tournament, if you've heard of that. So basically what the soccer tournament is it's 7-on-7 and winner take all. It's like a bracket knockout kind of stuff. There's a group stage and then there's a knockout tournament, and the winner gets $1 million. And there was this year for the first time they had a women's bracket where the winner also got $1 million, which I thought was really cool. You know, so because last year they had it like the women in the same tournament as the men, and they just got cooked. So like
That's kind of funny.
yeah, it was pretty funny watching those games.
It's a funny idea.
But yeah, so this year, Pat McAfee had a team, and my player of the week is Pat McAfee, because you would say, oh, well, he obviously didn't play. He did play. He played 2 of the games, and he had a disgusting assist, which if you guys or the viewers haven't seen it, you can look up Pat McAfee assist, and it was probably
Number one on Twitter.
Absolute.
it was probably
nasty.
the assist of the tournament, in my opinion, as somebody who watched a lot of the games. It was the best assist that I saw live, and the finish from the player that I don't know the name of, you know,
It was a nice finish.
it
Nice
was
little
yeah,
silver goal.
yeah, and Nani's team made the final but lost. So
Wait, so I'm confused. I didn't watch it. Is it like the same sort of setup where in TBT most of the teams are alumni of schools? Is it like that sort of thing, or is it just
it's a mix. There was like a Georgetown alumni team. There's like alumni college teams. There's teams that play at the indoor soccer leagues. There's club teams from like European clubs. There's, celebrity teams.
Oh yeah, didn't Wrexham have a team?
Wrexham had a team
Oh,
in the men's and women's bracket. Wrexham's team made it to the quarterfinals, I believe, in the men's side. And then there's some other teams. The team that won, I don't even know. I think they. Hold on, let me look it up.
While you're looking that up, I found out who received the volley and the goal from Pat McAfee. It was a CBS Sports analyst Mike Grella. Yeah.
That's
so
insane.
great goal by him. And Pat McAfee ended up winning that game against Chad Ochocinco's team.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny.
Yeah,
Chad
so he had a team.
Ochocinco's team was pretty bad.
That's actually funny.
It was La Bombera. La Bombera. I
Mm.
don't even know what that. I don't know where they were based. I was looking at their. They're an indoor soccer club in Delaware. So
Interesting.
Huh.
All right. Who's
Wow.
next?
I'll go next.
All right.
My fan player of the week is actually not even a player anymore because I'm continuing the trend of I've been doing New York for the past couple weeks. I'm just going to continue the trend because this is funny. Not even a player anymore. He just retired. Darren Waller.
No.
Oh.
Yup. And there's Ben with the rapping. Came out with a diss track. You can call it a rap about his
Talking about the
production.
song about his wife. I
Yup.
heard that was the worst thing on the planet.
have you
Did you
heard
Yeah.
see
it?
why he retired?
No, I haven't heard
It's
it. I
so
don't wanna
bad. It's
hear it.
actually one of the worst things
I
I've
don't
want to
hear it,
Yeah,
bro.
made myself listen
Don't
to.
save yourself 4 minutes of your life or whatever.
The
it
beat
is.
is
Yeah.
pretty solid. I will say the beat is solid. I'm sure he definitely did not make it. But the lyrics and the auto tune are just.
But
I,
I'm not
but-
like completely like it would have been nice to have Darren Waller for this upcoming season for
Yeah,
the
until he
Giants.
got.
he was
until
your
got
best
hurt.
weapon. He
Until
was
he
your
gets
best
hurt.
He
receiver
was.
last
And
year.
now here's the thing too with Darren Waller is that like Ben was saying before he got injured through like the first like 6-7 weeks of the season, he was leading all tight ends in receiving yards. He was the best tight end around that time before he got injured again with his hamstring. And then he got injured and I mean he was still the Giants' number one weapon receiving wise. But then I just gotta like I'm kind of tipping my hat to him because he could have stayed with the team and he could have made his money without his heart really being in the game. But he decided to leave and retire, which gives the Giants cap space. So I thank him for doing that besides rather than staying on the team and just collecting his paycheck
You know,
basically.
we can agree. I'm also happy he was their best receiver. He was your only receiver last season.
Wandale Robinson, he gets
Oh,
so
yeah,
much
yeah,
disrespect.
Isaiah
Yeah,
Hodgins.
I'm pretty sure Waller though still ended up being our second leading receiver on the year.
And he missed half the season.
Let me ask
I-
you
And he
this.
still
as a fan,
missed
as a
last
fantasy
season.
owner of Darren Waller, I'm sad
me-
to see him
Oh
go.
yeah, you were pissed.
Oh
Let me-
my
let
God.
me-
In my fantasy draft, I could have chose him or TJ Hawkinson, and just because I was like, you know what, Waller's gonna have an amazing year, I chose Waller, and I mean Hawkinson still ended up getting hurt though.
Let me ask you this though, Jake. Right? Are you happy that he's retired, or would you have been more happy that he would have been on the roster? You would have
If
gotten hype and he would have gotten hurt.
I would have been more happy if he just came back and he wasn't going through anything that he was going through. But of course, like everybody probably would have wanted that to happen. But with everything that went through, and I'd rather have him not be on the team without his heart in it. Because if he was on the team, but he didn't want to play football anymore, and he just his heart wasn't in it, then I wouldn't have wanted him on the team.
We know
Which is
though that he's
basically what happened
injury
now.
prone.
I
And
feel
he's
like
injury prone, yes.
I feel like he might come out of retirement someday. I don't know
yeah,
when.
okay.
Real
Was he
quick,
gonna
though,
pull a what's
Gronk?
his name? Graham?
Gronk.
Jimmy
He's gonna
Graham?
pull a Gronk.
No, Jimmy Graham, bro.
Yeah.
Like
did you guys see partially why he retired? Apparently he did some research on his zodiac sign and found out that it'd be a good idea to retire. I'm not making this up. I saw this.
what do you mean?
I didn't look into it because I don't know why I'm gonna look into Darren Waller looking at his zodiac sign, but apparently I don't know. Apparently something about his zodiac sign, his daily readings or whatever it is, told him that would be a good time to end his
Wow.
career, which
Wow.
is
Wow.
sounds about right considering everything else that's going on. The CTE definitely got him. We'll
All
see how it
right.
goes.
Gabe, do you want to go or am I
course.
going?
I have an interesting one, and Ben, I'm sure is gonna have a lot to say about this too. Probably my least favorite person in professional sports at this moment, the manager of the U.S. men's national team, Greg
Oh
Berhalter.
my God, dude!
I hate this guy. We have such all right. Little
Can I
summary.
know the backstory of the beef here?
Yeah, of course. So there's
He
really
sucks.
the problem is fundamentally when you're a manager of a club team, you can have whatever vision you want. You're able to bring in players from all over the world to play for your team that fit your vision, that fit your style of play. When you're a national team manager, obviously you can only select from people that are from your country. When you're the manager of the U.S. men's national team, we have a very talented team, but I mean we're limited in our striker right now. He's a pretty short, fast, very skilled with his feet, right? And Greg Berhalter likes to throw crosses into him so he can get a header. That's just not how you want to play with this guy, right? If you want a big, like tall striker that's just runs through anybody, then that's a good play style. But this guy's just very stubborn in his philosophies and his tactics, and it doesn't work for this style of team. And when you're the manager of a country, obviously you can't choose to bring in players from anywhere. You got to work with what you got. And it's also a scenario of there's a lot of I'm the word is slipping my mind now, but it's very interesting how he got his job in the first place because he has a brother that's very high up in the U.S. Soccer Federation. His previous managerial stints include a third division club in Sweden, which means basically as much as me coaching the under 10 Red Bulls, right? And then he also coached, I believe it was Columbus Crew, which is an MLS team for a little while, which isn't bad, but like he didn't do
Columbus
anything
Crew
fantastic.
stinks.
He didn't do anything with them either, I don't think. So it doesn't work at all. And then we lose 5-1 to Columbia, and props to Columbia. They have a pretty solid team and they punch way above their weight. They haven't lost in like 22 matches now, which is unbelievable for them. But we should have at least gave them a challenge. We got absolutely smoked by a team that has a much inferior roster to ours. I just do not like him at all. He needs to go. We have Brazil tomorrow night in the United States.
We're gonna get cooked, bro. If we lose by less than 6 goals, I'm gonna be impressed.
I'll say this though, Ben. I don't.
Played in MetLife?
Sorry, what did you say?
Is this the game that's being played in MetLife?
No, they don't play in MetLife. Otherwise,
I
I'd be
think
there every
this
single
game's
time.
in Miami.
Yeah, they do a lot of
somewhere.
Florida games. A lot
Yo,
of like.
you know what I'm gonna say? I haven't paid too much attention, but do you know who's always made me tune in? Captain America.
Christian
Captain
Pulisic.
America.
I love that guy.
He's
Yeah.
always
He
made
is-
me tune in to any type of soccer.
What a
Yeah.
revival
season.
for him
I-
too this season.
Do I get to go on a tangent, Chris? Can I go on a tangent about the same topic? Because
Sure,
Look,
sure.
I could go all day about Greg Berhalter, and don't get me wrong, he's a horrible coach. I'm going to talk about him for a little bit first. His decisions for this starting 11 made little to no sense to me. I just don't get why this team isn't playing a 5 at the back if you have a center back who can't cover a striker. He's too slow. He's 35 years old. Fool benched him. Why are you playing him? And you look at it, Weston McKennie didn't do anything. I don't really know what's going on with him. So, yeah, I mean, look, the players kind of let him down at this point. Some of the media is taking it too far and saying, "Oh, it's all on the players. Like Greg can only do so much." It's the tactics, number one. But number two, I mean, me and Gabe are both watching this game and texting back and forth, and literally every goal I was like, "That's a giveaway." Oh, another giveaway. I have the receipts. I can show you guys the text. It
No,
literally
I
is just
believe
like
it. I
it's
believe
just
it.
like the defense was giving the ball away.
I will say
right-
this though, and I think you also brought this up, is that they like to play in the back. They like to have possession of the ball, and that's what's going to happen when you have inferior ball handlers in the back
Yeah.
and in the midfield. Is that you're going to give it up at some point, and then you have Tim Ream, who's like ancient, right? And he's
Yeah.
not getting to that ball.
Yeah, when you have a James Rodriguez who doesn't even play for his club in
Sao
Colombia.
Paulo FC.
Yeah, he barely plays for them, and he's pressing you off the ball. I think that's kind of an issue. But yeah, I mean, I told Gabe this. My prediction for the game tomorrow is a 0-0 draw, and Greg Berhalter is going to sign a 20-year contract extension. No,
Wow.
no, just I mean, I don't want to sound like a negative Nancy, but I kind of hope the U.S. do really bad in Copa America.
Whoa.
I think it's better. I'd rather do good in the World Cup than Copa America, and if
Alright,
we do bad enough in
fair.
Copa America, Greg could get fired. Will he? Probably not.
I will
But
say,
he could.
yeah, I'll say this though, real quick. Last piece is that Brazil, as a federation, has been struggling big time recently. Colombia actually beat them as part of their unbeaten streak before they played us, and I guess after they played us because they're still unbeaten. But I think it's very possible that we do well against them. I don't think a win is off the table, especially if our tactics switch up at least a little bit and we play good. However, I will say this: part of me is kind of hoping that we get absolutely destroyed, only for the reason that it puts Berhalter on the hot seat at the very least. I hope so. And even if we play okay in Copa America, at least there's some consideration to be made there, especially with Pep Guardiola next season, potentially.
I do want to add some context to this USA Brazil game, right, and then we can move on. So Brazil just played Mexico, and they beat Mexico by only one goal, but they were using their entire backup lineup. And they said going into these friendlies, they're going to use their backups versus Mexico and their best 11 versus the USA. So I'm waving. Hold on, let me grab this real quick. I'm waving the white flag. Please don't score like 10 goals. Thank you. Or also, Matt Turner, can you please learn how to save a shot? Thank you. That's it.
That's not happening.
Who's your player of the
Guys,
week, Chris?
last week Gabe
Let's move
decided
on.
to pick a UFC fighter. I am also picking a UFC fighter this week. I have gone with a guy that I am definitely a fan of, and I'm gonna show a reason why. I went with Patty Pimlet.
Oh,
Patty. I like
what?
Patty.
There's
I like
some
Patty.
reasoning behind this, especially. And let me ask this: does anybody here follow him on Instagram?
I'm sure I do.
I think I know. I've seen the post that you're
Did
presumably
you
talking
see the
about.
post?
Yeah.
Okay. To show it off a little bit.
Oh, now okay, yeah, I understand. Okay.
If you look very closely, that is him with Victorino, Utley, Ryan Howard, Jimmy Rollins, and he's in a Phillies jersey, and he's hype, and it's
my
just a
stadium, that way.
collaboration that I never would have expected at all.
Patty the
Chris, I
Hey.
have
Batty.
a very important question for you.
All
And
right,
this
I'm
determines
listening.
if we're friends or not from this point going forward, okay?
Okay.
Who are you rooting for in Paddy Pimblett's last fight?
Who is he fighting against?
Tony Ferguson.
Patty Pimlet.
Oh, Gabe's off the show. He's leaving.
I'm off. Yeah. You'll never see me again.
Guess what? You know what I'll tell you? I won money off that too.
I mean, yeah, it was a smart bet to make, but rooting for Paddy Pimblett over
Wasn't that wait, correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't that the same event with BSD? BSD was on that card, right?
I forget. I don't think that was his fight against Poirier, but
No,
I think that was
no.
Poirier was more
The fight
recent.
before that, I think. I think it was
Yeah,
his
I mean,
fight
I wasn't
before that
following
was
him
on that
before
card.
Poirier. I'm not gonna lie, but it might have been. Yeah.
Yeah, no, dude. It's a collaboration that I never would have expected, especially to see Patty Pimlet walking around in a Philly jersey. So I thought that was really, really funny. I was really hype about that, man. I was like, nice.
That's an interesting crossover. That's for sure.
That's what I mean, bro. And like, let me just read the caption on the Instagram post. Brilliant day watching the MLB in the London Stadium yesterday. Can't thank them enough for the hospitality. Pleasure to meet some of the Philly legends who won the World Series in '08. Sick to see my boy Blaze starstruck because he told me all about them and had me watching YouTube clips over the past couple of years. We went the right day with the Phillies blowing out the Mets. Not the same story today, though. Because he posted it the day later after the Mets won the
He
second
didn't
game.
write that.
That's exactly what he wrote.
He didn't write that. Somebody wrote that for him.
Bro, I'll literally show it. Do you
That's his
need
media
proof?
team. He gave his phone to the UFC.
Do you need
PR
proof?
account.
Right there at the bottom.
Yeah. I've seen it. Yeah. No, he wrote. I mean, Gabe's saying that he is a social media person, which is probably true.
I don't want to hear
No,
that.
actually, if there's anybody that doesn't, it might be him.
Yeah.
So-
to be fair,
Is Patty Pimblett and Sean Strickland, if there's anybody.
I do really like him because of that. You know,
I think
everybody knows.
I need a Patty versus McGregor fight. That's what I
Everybody
need.
knows at the end of the day, that's a team that I want to work with, either them or the Eagles. I'm diehard for both of those teams, so
Well, speaking
that
of the
I
London
really
series,
appreciate people who like that.
Speaking of the London series, this is a good transition into it. What are your thoughts on it?
I
I
enjoyed
think-
it.
I enjoyed it.
I like
I
it.
wish
I
it was a
liked it.
longer series.
Yeah, I agree. It should be 4 games. I don't know why it's only 2. I feel like 4, or at least maybe do if you only want to do 2 games, then do. I think what Bryce Harper said was a good idea is have 2-game series, but put 4 teams there so they it's like a round it's a round robin type thing.
Oh,
If you
I
get
would
what I'm
like that.
saying.
Yeah, I would like that.
So they're there for longer because I feel like it was so packed out. Like you want as many fans as possible. You're trying to grow the game. But yeah, Bryce Harper said a lot of interesting things this weekend. He said he wants to try and get MLB players in the Olympics in LA in
A lot of
2028.
but there was a player vote on that, and like 70% voted no.
Yeah, but it could change. I think it would be a really fun time.
I think it would be a
Uh,
fun idea. I
it would
like
be-
the idea.
The only issue would be they would have to pause the season, and then pitching would be I don't know how that would work exactly, but the NHL did it, so obviously it's different for baseball, but the NHL did
fair.
it. The NHL basically what they did is they had their All-Star break. They got rid of it for that season, and then they added another week and a half or 2 weeks or something. So MLB could do something similar. The only issue is I don't know if MLB is going to want to get rid of their All-Star game and stuff because it gets a lot of views.
Yeah.
So
I don't think
I
they
would love to see a Red Sox Yankees game in London. I think that would be perfect.
Didn't that already happen?
When?
yeah, I think that happened 2
Yeah.
years ago.
They were the first ever teams to get.
I'll be
it.
honest though,
And
I'm not a
it-
fan of
Was
the big
it?
rivalries being played overseas. I like
Was
it.
it Red Sox Yankees?
I think it's
I
cool
think it
that they're
was.
expanding. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Red Sox Yankees because that's the series that each game
I think-
both teams scored 20 runs.
Oh yeah, you're right.
I think what
See though,
baseball
Gabe,
did-
to come back at you with that a little bit though, when they're doing this whole expanding out to other areas, I think it's best to showcase the best rivalries before you showcase
Mhm.
other teams. Because say you threw in, I don't know, the Braves and I mean not the Braves, the Brewers, and we'll just say the Tigers. People are gonna be like, huh?
I
That's what
don't
mean.
mind. The only thing I'm saying is
I'm not saying either team's bad, but just in general.
I think it would be a smart idea to throw like two of the best teams in the league in there, but maybe make sure that it's not like a rivalry game, just because, especially with the Yankees and Red Sox, it's so historic with Fenway and Yankee Stadium and
Mm-hmm.
all the history in that. I mean, not that we should gatekeep it over here, but in a way, yeah, I think we also kind of we should, just because I don't know. I mean, how weird would it be if like I don't know, Man City, Man United was played over here, right? It'd be like, why are we getting this game? Shouldn't
Yeah,
this be played in
I see what
Old
you're
By the way,
saying.
that could happen, Gabe. You know,
I did see that, and I don't
FIFA
like that.
FIFA approved of a new rule where leagues can play one game per season per team internationally, um, outside of their country of origin. But I think for baseball, out of any sport, it makes the most sense to have international games because there's just so many games.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
or you play 162. If you play two of them, like if you get rid of like both the Phillies and the Mets got lost in a home game, like, and you know, I mean, the Phillies make a ton of money at their home games right now, so
Mhm.
I'm sure they made a ton of money being over there and just like the merchandise and the fact that they're expanding their brand. But
Well, I'm glad you said the word merchandise because maybe not as much. Whoever decided to make those god awful merchandise, man, you need to suffer for putting a Mets logo and a Phillies logo on the same
Oh, they did that?
clothes.
could you imagine
Yes.
if they did a
Let me
Yankees
ask you
and
this,
Red
Gabe.
Sox?
Have you ever heard
Ooh.
of the name Weston Wilson?
That sounds vaguely familiar. I don't know
If you
why.
could see right where my finger is, that baseball right there.
Yeah.
That is a signed baseball from Jeff Hoffman and Weston Wilson. They are both currently Phillies players. Weston Wilson played in a game last year, and his first at bat, he hit a home run. I'm actually a fan of Weston Wilson. He's a really nice guy. His girlfriend showed up to the London series, respect to her, in this said merchandise, and I went, "What is that?" Because
Yeah,
I'm not
Twitter was
joking.
not happy
It
about
had
that.
a Mets logo right here and a Phillies logo right here, and it's like.
It was probably the most
Your
disgusting.
boyfriend's on the
Ugh.
Phillies. What are you wearing? Like you might wanna find something else because
Going back
that
to
was
what
disgusting.
going back to
And
what
I
you
think
said,
as a Mets
Gabe,
fan, you would agree, Gabe. It's pretty disgusting.
I don't like that. Yeah, I agree.
It's
going
fair.
back to what you said, Gabe, where like big rivalries shouldn't be like in other countries and stuff like that. Like I understand what you're saying, where like you don't want to take away that rivalry from that fan base and from that city to be able to go to that game. But with that being said, I think it still would bring in, like Ben was saying, more money and more visibility and viewership if it's those big rivalries going out to other
Oh,
countries.
without a doubt. And that's definitely a lot of why they're doing it too is, I mean, more eyes on the sport, obviously, but like a lot more merchandise and ticket
Mhm.
sales and all this stuff where they wouldn't normally have a sold out game. I mean, Mets Phillies, they'd have a lot of people attending in, New York or Philadelphia, but it wouldn't be the same as it is in England. It's just me saying that as a big sports fan that like,
Yeah.
I like it being played here.
Mhm.
Obviously, logistically, it makes a lot of sense to have it in London or England, wherever they had it.
Now that we're into our baseball segment and stuff, I was gonna say something in the beginning of the episode along with the news, but I saved it for the baseball segment. Um, I was given a heart attack the other day. Uh, one of my buddies is really, really good when it comes to getting anything off of Twitter, like any update on any sport. He's literally
Oh,
like
I know
that,
what you're
and
talking
like
about.
I'm talking like seconds. I have
Are
it
you
immediately
okay?
sent to me. Over a few days ago, ESPN analyst was hacked.
Yeah, dude, I saw this too, and I thought it was real too. I was like, what?
Buster Olney was hacked, and during this, I thought that teams were just going wild because there were two trades that happened during this hack, and I actually thought one of them made a lot of sense, being that the Phillies traded for Luis Robert Jr. and I went wild in my
Oh
house.
wow.
I ran up and down. I jumped up and down in joy.
Dude, I knew
I
it
was
was
playing
fake. I was
Philly
like,
music. I was going wild just to find out 20 minutes later that he was hacked. And I went, yo, whoever did this, you need to suffer. Like, what are you doing with your life that you're proceeding to do this? I got even more happy after I saw a second tweet that said, the Oakland Athletics just traded for Lindor. I went, let's go. He's gone. He's out of New York just to
That was
find
good.
out that it
Chris-
was fake.
Chris, I
And I
think
went, "Are
that
you
guy.
kidding me?"
If whoever hacked Buster Only heard what you did, I think he would be very happy.
Yeah, that's exactly what
Bro,
he
That's
but
wants.
like, be
exactly-
honest, be
yeah.
honest. Hold on, be honest. Would it not make sense though for the Mets to move him and get away from all that money and go into a
No.
rebuild?
I don't think so.
Oakland, no, no. Chris,
Oakland has good guys to give up.
That's not what Oakland would do, though. Oakland would not trade for that contract.
Chris, you
I
can't. Okay,
agree that
Chris,
they
you
wouldn't,
think
but,
the
like,
Mets are gonna trade Lindor?
it would be a smart move by the Mets.
No, it wouldn't. No, it wouldn't. Then players aren't gonna win. Players aren't gonna want to sign there if you trade a guy that you gave one of the
You
biggest
need
contracts.
to go into a rebuild anyways. Your
They're
team
going to trade
sucks.
Alonso. They're trading
Dude,
Alonso.
They're not
Why
going
would you
into.
get rid of Alonso? I think
He's on
he's
the
the
last
best
year of his
player.
deal.
Chris,
He's on the last
there's
year
a
of his
difference.
deal.
There's a difference between a rebuild and a retool. And right now the Mets are in a retool. They're on a rebuild because they're not selling off everything. They just have a lot of. They're right in the middle. They have a bunch of guys in AAA that are really good prospects.
I'll
and
tell
then
you this.
they have some veterans.
There's 3 guys in my eyes that are not movable, and it's Alvarez, Pete Alonso, and Kodai Senga. There's the only 3 in my
Well,
eyes.
Pete Alonso is getting traded because he's a free agent and he's not
it's-
resigning.
Yeah, he's not going to
it's-
resign, I don't think, right?
And I
Pete
think the
Alonso is
entire-
honestly one of the most overrated players in baseball. So
And the
my
entire
opinion.
Mets,
I won't
like
disagree.
the entire Mets, like view or like I want to strategy, with this like retool, like Ben was saying, was that they going into this next offseason, they want to give someone a big contract, and they're
Juan
looking at Juan
Soto.
Soto. They're looking at Juan Soto, but that's their entire strategy is to move Alonso most likely, and then sign someone for a huge contract like Soto.
All
And
right.
wait, I got to be honest with you guys. As people that know a lot more about the MLB than I do, what do you think? What's the likelihood of that happening?
Juan Soto, honestly, Juan Soto is.
I
Definitely
think
gonna
it's
test-
very likely for the amount of money that the Mets have.
It's a good move for the Mets. It's
I
a good
think-
move for them.
I think he's going to end up back with the Yankees.
I hope
However,
so.
he's definitely going to test the market. I think
Whoever
there's
gives
gonna,
him the most money is where he's going.
Yeah, and projected he's going to make around probably $600 million. He's not going to do Ohtani. I don't think anyone's going to do Ohtani for the
600's
next like 5
wild.
years. 600's wild, but he also deserves that.
I mean the way he's hitting
Right.
the way he's hitting this year.
Alright,
Yeah,
man.
I
Let
think.
me
Yeah,
let me
I think
bring
I
up
think he's gonna stay in
something
New York,
here.
though.
With that rumor and stuff though happening. Who should the Phillies go after between Robert Jr., Randy, and Kyle Tucker?
I mean, I just don't think the Phillies are going to get any of those guys. If they could get Kyle Tucker, that would be insane. But there's just no way Houston
See-
trades. There's no way you trade an MVP candidate. What- and
Here's
Houston-
my only issue though,
I don't
man.
think Houston's going to sell.
I don't
even though
see
they're
the
not.
Astros
I don't see-
selling like
Yeah,
you're
that's
saying,
what
Ben,
I agree.
selling that core of Altuve, Alvarez, Tucker, Bregman. I don't see them getting rid of any of them.
Yeah,
Here's
they're
my
gonna
only issue.
They're going to stay in the
though.
fight as long as possible.
I
Yeah.
would love Randy. I would love Robert.
Randy's been the worst hitter in baseball this year. Why do you want Randy?
Because we've seen him do good before, bro. It's not like
But
he's
it's
a bad player.
It's baseball. You got to base it off what's happening. Like if you said, "Oh, Nick Castellanos has been a good player before," but I don't think
Would you
want
rather
Nick
have Randy or Nick Castellanos?
right now Nick Castellanos.
That's fair. That's fair. All right.
Right.
You're gonna be beat there.
Nick Castellanos has been batting like 280 over the last two and a half weeks. So Nick Castellanos is
Alright.
currently our 2-hole hitter. Because I don't know if you're going to talk about the other breaking news with the Phillies, but
No,
Yeah.
that'll come up. But my other thing here is though, right? Say we do wind up trading and getting a guy like Kyle Tucker, right? Just it's a what if, right? Say it happens. Would I be very happy? Yes, but like at the same time, man, I couldn't look at him in a Phillies jersey and be like, I want to root for you. Like, I'm still upset. I still hate Chas McCormick to death. Like, I don't care that you're from PA, bro. I don't care. You're not from PA. No PA
friend
guy
knows
would
Chas
ruin
McCormick.
that for. And no PA guy would ruin that.
he should have tanked
the
his chances
state.
to win the World Series because of Phillies. Yeah,
Yeah, he should have. Exactly. You're exactly correct. So
I'm
like
joking, dude.
I don't know if I could like look Kyle Tucker and be like, yeah, like that's my guy until maybe like 3 years
so
down the line.
you're telling me that just because they beat you in the World Series, if he would go on your team, you would not root for him as much as you would everyone else?
No, he would. He's just saying. I don't believe that.
You think I'm lying, bro? It was the same
You're
way with
telling me
Al
when it gets
Horford. It was the same way with Al Horford.
Kyle Tucker's getting traded.
but
You're
that was
buying his
different. I didn't
jersey
like
the
Al
next
Horford
day.
either.
You're buying his jersey the next day, 100%.
Chris, Al
Yeah, he's
Horford.
going on this podcast and talking about it too. Matter of
Al
fact.
Horford is a unique example because I also hated that because it didn't fit the
Listen,
roster at all.
Jake, you just wouldn't understand, man. Like,
How would I not understand? They cheated the Yankees out of the World Series. What are you talking about? I would have more hatred for them.
dude, I can't stand the Astros, especially Altuve. I hate Altuve, man. I despise Altuve. Like, there's
You don't know what
one
it's
guy.
like. You don't know what it's like almost making the World Series
Let me
like 3 years in
rephrase.
a row and getting knocked out every single year from them.
Within like the past 5 years, I might be able to name like 3 guys that played for the Astros that I actually like. Being Greinke, Teoscar Hernandez, and Garrett Cole. Only 3 I can name.
You like Garrett Cole?
What do you not like Garrett Cole for? He's unbelievable.
I mean,
He's
yeah.
Listen, there's only like
Just
2
because
guys
he's
I
good
even
doesn't
like
mean I
off
have to
the
like
Yankees.
him.
He's coming back, by the way.
There's only 2 guys I even like off the Yankees to begin with. It's like him and Judge. And Rodon, even though Rodon stinks.
Well, I automatically
What do you
dislike.
mean? He's back.
Yeah,
Back to
you
starting
say
lineup.
everyone's back. Luis
I'm
Gil,
gonna be
Gil,
honest.
yeah.
Second
I
in power
automatically
rankings,
dislike
Cy Young.
everybody on the Yankees, and I already disliked Juan Soto, and then going to the Yankees made it even more of a hate relationship. But yeah, damn, this is a long episode. I feel like I don't know.
It's about like an hour and 10. We'll wrap it up here though after one last thing. I want to go over one last thing. So it is about. It's the 11th today. The All-Star Game's coming up on July 16th. First off, I want to go around real quick. Who do we got, the AL or the NL? I'm taking the NL.
Oh, I'm taking the AL. Easy.
Taking the AL. The AL always seems to have the.
NL won
upper edge
last year,
against
yo. Elias Diaz, baby.
I
My
miss the
guy.
years. I miss the years where the All-Star game like actually mattered to give like home field advantage for the World Series.
I miss
Yeah.
that too.
I
miss it,
why.
but at the same time, I kind
Yeah.
of preferred the record thing, but at the same time, I do wish it. At least they still try in that one though. Like it's not like the NBA.
I'll take
AL
the
or
NL.
NL?
I gotta take
Yeah, that's
Gotta
fair.
rep.
All right. Now the point that I want to bring up though, can everyone name one player that they're like excited to see in this All-Star game? I'll start, and I'm going with Ranger Suarez because he's an absolute monster. This is the best pitcher in baseball. We're talking about an absolute dog.
I'm also gonna be Homer. I'm excited to see Bryce Harper. I think everybody's like I look on Twitter and generally MLB fans really like Bryce Harper now, which is really weird because 2 years ago everybody hated him, but then he performed really well in the playoffs and he was really hyped. So
Gained a lot of respect.
yeah, and I think he's probably. I would argue he has one of the biggest brands in baseball.
That's fair.
He might not be the best player, but
That's fair.
he's very well known. He's done it for a long time, and everybody now likes him. So,
Jake?
My answer is Luis Gil. I think the national audience for baseball saw him on Sunday when he versed the Dodgers, but I think that everybody will to be able to get the chance to see him play. He deserves the recognition, and I think he deserves for everyone to watch how good he actually is this year.
Gabe?
All right. I have a question. I'm a Mets fan. Is it weird that I say Aaron Judge just because the home run contest is so exciting?
No.
Okay. That's
I
my
wonder if
answer
he's
for
gonna.
you.
Do you think he's gonna participate in the home run derby?
No, he said that he'll
He's not-
never participate in the home run derby ever again because in 2017 when he did, he got hurt.
That's
What a
So-
crybaby.
fair. It's a fair reasoning behind it, though. It's a very fair reasoning. Like,
Yeah, he doesn't want to get hurt again, which with his injury history, I agree.
So
I'll also say I'm very
But he
excited
also
to
won
see
it.
Bohm.
He already won it in 2017, so it doesn't matter.
I'm very excited to see Bohm too. Bohm's gonna be fun. I hope J-Rod participates in the home run derby again. I do. He was so good in Seattle, man. What did he hit, like 40?
I don't think he is. He's not even going to qualify, dude. He has like, I don't even think he has 10 home runs.
I don't even think does qualifications even matter for home run derby anymore? Because remember
No.
when Vladdy, was it last year or 2 years ago?
Vladdy won last year.
He won it last year, but like 2 years ago, he wasn't like top 10 in home runs, and he still like was the lead person in the home run derby. Because
they invite the top 10 people in home runs, and then
if you don't take it in the top 10, they move down.
Yeah, I mean, dude, Julio's had a pretty.
So Stanton might be in it.
I don't think Stanton would do it again.
No, Stanton's old. Julio only has 5 home runs this year, which is kind of insane.
It's rough.
Yeah, I don't know who's going to do it, because I think Pete Alonso also said he isn't participating.
I would be excited to see Gunnar Henderson in it. I feel like
Gunnar Henderson's nasty.
He's young enough to where like
gonna be back in it again?
Care about getting hurt in it. So I think he would be able to.
What about Adley being back in it again, yo? He was switch hitting.
Where is the All-Star game at this year? I forget. Do you guys know?
I don't know.
Me too. I'll look it up real quick.
Were you watching that though, Ben? Adley was literally switch hitting in the home run derby. That was funny. I like Adley a lot, man.
It's in Texas. It's in Globe
Dude, it
Life,
makes me mad. Like, does anybody like feel that?
I believe. Are you still?
Does anybody feel a way though? Like, does anybody feel a way like if your friend gets a jersey, you're like, oh, now I can't get that player.
Yeah.
Yeah, my brother got an Adley jersey, so I can't get Adley, but I might get Gunnar Henderson.
You're right, Ben. Globe Life.
I might get a Gunnar Henderson jersey just because.
So Adolis Garcia is probably going to participate because it's at Globe Life.
I would love that. I would love that. I love Adolis, bro. Adolis. I'm gonna throw it to you this way. Nobody knows about like 2019 Adolis. Nobody knows about him, bro. Those catches that he was making in center field were disgusting, and now people want to give him recognition because he trashed the Astros.
He's having a bit of a down year this year, but I mean, still, I think he would come back.
He's still a great player, though, man. The Rangers will find it. Like, Simeon's got like 11 home runs. You know, I want to bring up one last guy, and then we're going to call it. Jordan Montgomery, you suck. That's what you get for leaving the Rangers.
I wonder if Ohtani's going to do the home run derby again.
What happened, Diamondbacks? They're going to miss the playoffs, bro. It's going to be so funny.
That's so funny, actually, because I was watching the highlights of the National League Championship Series from last year today for some reason, because I wanted to suffer, and I do not. I knew the results, and I still could not believe how bad the Phillies choked.
The only thing Arizona will ever have is 2001. You can't forget about 2001. Randy, Luis Gonzalez, bro. You can't ever forget about it. Shut up. Trash. Absolute trash.
It sounds like Phillies fans talking about 2008.
No, because I don't always talk about 2008. I'll talk about Kyle Schwarber hitting a home run off your team.
Blooper over Derek Jeter's head anyway. It wasn't even that convincing of a win.
Yeah, well.
Yeah. All right. That'll be it for today's episode, though. So stay hyped, stay hungry, and keep the frenzy alive. And we'll see you later on the next one.